Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Sloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 48 of chapter 18. Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sahajam karma kaunteya
sadosham api natyajet
sadosham api natyajet
sarvarambha hi doshena
sarvarambha hi doshena
धूमेनाग्निरिवावृताः
dhumenagnir ivavritah.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sahajam,
Sahajam,
born simultaneously.
born simultaneously.
Karma,
Karma,
work.
work.
Kaunteya,
Kaunteya,
O son of Kunti.
O son of Kunti.
Sadosham,
Sadosham,
with fault.
with fault.
Api,
Api,
although.
although.
Na,
Na,
never.
never.
Tyajet,
Tyajet,
one should give up.
one should give up.
Sarva arambha,
Sarva arambhaha,
all ventures.
all ventures.
He, certainly.
Certainly.
Doshena,
Doshena,
with fault.
with fault.
Dhumena,
Dhumena,
with smoke.
with smoke.
Agnihi,
Agnihi,
fire.
fire.
Eva,
Iva,
as. Avritaha,
avritaha,
covered.
covered.
Every endeavor
is
covered by some fault.
is covered by some fault.
Just as fire is covered by smoke.
Just as fire is covered by smoke.
Therefore, one should not
give
up the work born of his nature. O son of Kunti,
O son of Kunti,
even if such work is full of fault.
even if such work is full of fault.
Yeah. Prabhupada writes in the purport, in conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. Even if one is a Brahmana, he has to perform sacrifices in which animal killing is necessary. Similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he may be, has to fight enemies. He cannot avoid it. Similarly, a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business, or he may sometimes have to do business on the black market. These things are necessary. One cannot avoid them. Similarly, even though a man is a Shudra serving a bad master, he has to carry out the order of the master even though it should not be done. Despite these flaws, one should continue to carry out his prescribed duties, for they are born out of his own nature. A very nice example is given here. Although fire is pure, still there is smoke. Yet smoke does not make the fire impure. Even though there is smoke in the fire, fire is still considered to be the purest of all elements. If one prefers to give up the work of a Kshatriya and take up the occupation of a Brahmana, he is not assured that in the occupation of a Brahmana there are no unpleasant duties. One may then conclude that in the material world, no one can be completely free from the contamination of material nature. This example of fire and smoke is very appropriate in this connection. When in wintertime one takes a stone from the fire, sometimes smoke disturbs the eyes and other parts of the body, but still one must make use of the fire despite disturbing conditions. Similarly, one should not give up his natural occupation because there are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. That is the perfectional point. When a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected with devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within, and that is self-realization. People sometimes recoil from their duty because they see a defect in it. Here, Sri Krishna states that no work is free from defect, just as fire naturally has smoke on top of it. So this is another Vaishnava Parampara commentary. For example, we cannot breathe without killing millions of microbes. If we cultivate the land, we destroy innumerable microorganisms. If we succeed against competition in business, we deprive others of wealth. When we eat, we deprive another of food. Since Swadharma entails activity, it cannot be devoid of defects. So, very nicely put that whatever you do, you are withholding something from someone or you're cheating someone. So, every endeavor, that is why Krishna is saying, every one of our endeavor is covered by some fault, by some defect. This is unavoidable. Because it is covered by some fault, we can't say there must be some other occupational duty that is far better and less faulty. Because every endeavor is covered by fault. Even a Brahmana may be making mistakes as he does things, as Prabhupada says in his purport, that just by sacrificing an animal, there is a difficult duty he has to perform. But the benefits of the Swadharma far outweigh its defects. And the foremost benefit is that it provides a comfortable and natural path for one's purification and elevation. In his book, Making a Life and Making a Living, Mark Albion, who was a professor at the Harvard Business School, cites a study in which the careers of 1,500 business school graduates were tracked from 1960 to 1980. From the beginning, graduates were grouped in two categories. In category A were those who said they wanted to make money first, so that they could do what they really wanted to do later, after they had taken care of their financial concerns. 83% fell in category A, which means most of us work with the mood that I will earn a living, I will save away a lot of money, and then after that, I will do whatever I want to do. In category B were those who pursued their interests first, sure that money would eventually follow. 17% came in category B. So, in category A were 83% of the people who were most interested in the money. In category B, how many percent? Just 17%. After 20 years, there were 101 millionaires. One person was from category A who wanted to make money first, and 100 from category B who pursued their interest first. The overwhelming majority of the people who became wealthy did so thanks to the work they found profoundly absorbing. Very nice insight, huh? This results of the survey should be shared with a lot of parents in India who force their children to take up one particular stream of education or the other. The child should do what they really are interested in. Then they will be far more absorbed in what they do. Mark Albion concludes that for most people, there is a difference between work and play. But if they do what they love, then work becomes play. And they never have to work for another day in their life because they're already doing what they really love doing. This is what Sri Krishna is asking Arjun to do. Not to abandon the work that is best suited to his nature, even if it has defects in it, rather to work according to his natural propensity. But for work to be elevating, it must be done in the proper consciousness described in the next verse. So here Chaitanya Charan Prabhu writes, when we have to do something difficult, it's helpful if we are prepared for it. So Arjuna has to be prepared to do something very difficult, which is to destroy his own family members. There couldn't be anything more difficult than this. Suppose we have to lift a heavy suitcase. A timely warning about its weight will protect us from injuring ourselves by lifting it nonchalantly, which means casually. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna has the difficult duty of fighting against relatives. Krishna prepares him by stating that distress is inescapable. The world itself is a place of distress. But distresses come in many forms. When something unpleasant happens to us, it's tough. Still, all we need to do is just accept it. But when we ourselves have to do something unpleasant and as an unavoidable duty, that's far tougher. Suppose someone's favorite horse has become fatally wounded in an accident. They will find watching that horse die painful. But suppose the horse's wound is such that its death is inevitable but not imminent. If they have to put the horse out of its misery by killing it, that will be far more painful. If the horse is still strong enough to resist, then forcibly subduing it first and then killing it will be most painful. So different scenarios, based on what has happened. Similar is Arjuna's painful duty. He has to put down other human beings, even people whom he cares for, because they have become severely wounded, not physically, but psychologically. That is, their inner world has become inflicted by the misleading drives of lust, anger, and greed, or by their misdirected commitment to those misled by lust, anger, and greed. For their and the world's good, they need to be neutralized. Krishna girds Arjuna for such a painful duty. Girds means prepares him, strengthens him, by reminding him that all work involves falls, just as handling fire sometimes entails dealing with smoke. So the conclusion is, through the smoke-fire metaphor, Krishna urges Arjuna to accept the painful killing of relatives as an unavoidable part of his duty as a Kshatriya. One question that may occur to us in what Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is writing here is, definitely not every single member or soldier on the battlefield on both sides were driven by lust, anger, and greed. It is those in the leadership roles predominantly that were driven by this desire. And therefore, a collateral loss is the simple, perhaps innocent soldiers who simply had to follow the instructions of their leaders. That is why when you die on the battlefield, and if you are not the leader, irrespective of which side you are on, the winning side, the losing side, the dharmic side, the adharmic side, if you're not in the leadership position, you will still get the benefit of going to heaven. Because dying on the battlefield is considered for the sake of protecting the land first, and of course dharma eventually, is considered to be a very exalted thing. So you may think so many innocent soldiers are getting killed because they didn't have anything to do with the war. They are simply following instructions. Right? So similarly, Prabhupada writes in the Purport, if you are in the laborer class, if you're a Shudra and you're working for your master, even if your master is bad, you have to tolerate and still follow the instructions of the master, because you will not suffer the karmic reactions if the master asks you to do something that is inappropriate. You will not suffer the consequences. It will be the master who has to accept those consequences. Right? So even karma is such a complicated subject, we really don't know how things are evaluated by the Lord, right? Therefore, simply do your duty the best you can, because every duty is covered by some fault. Therefore, you should not give up work just because it is inconvenient or uncomfortable. Even if the work is full of fault, Krishna is saying. Even if you are unable to perform the work even a little bit perfectly, Krishna says that's better than pretending to perform somebody else's work perfectly. So that's the essence of the shloka. It's a very important instruction for us. A lot of times we may be very tempted to give up some of our duties and responsibilities because it's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable, it's stressful, it's creating a lot of anxiety. So many different reasons we have why we want to give up something. Krishna is saying, don't do that. Just stay Krishna conscious and continue to make your endeavor. Everything else Krishna will take care of.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.